Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Giving honor and praise unto the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. My name is Yeshaya Yisrael, of the tribe of Dan of the nation of Israel. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, we know that it is past due, and we do not, brothers and sisters, intend for this to be long. We know and understand, brothers and sisters, that we were trying to get this done and accomplished in the past, and technical matters regarding the Wi-Fi or so forth and so on cause it to not sound its best. So what we wanted to do is on the same platforms, Moreh Yeshaya Torah lessons, Moreh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, is do the same thing, brothers and sisters, and have it go in that particular manner. The people who take out their time, knowing that you could be doing anything else, but in this particular case, you all, whether right now or later on, are listening in this particular case. And we hope and pray that you are well and that you will be better. Brothers and sisters, and giving honor and praise unto the Most High, the one who sees all and is not seen, the one who judges all and is not judged. This is whom we're speaking of, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. We hope and pray, brothers and sisters, that everybody, again, is well and will be better. So, brothers and sisters, without any further ado, I want to send this link out in this particular case. We want to, brothers and sisters, get into the mode of this. All right? And I cannot properly per se hear myself, so I'm going to ask the people, if you can hear me well and if you're in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If you are well and you are in good spirits and if you can hear me well, please, I'm asking you all to type in the number 4. I'm going to, brothers and sisters, in this particular case, pull up the PowerPoint in this particular manner. And again, this is being done live on 2 different channels, Modeh Yeshaya Torah Lessons and Modeh Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons. We ask you all to subscribe to whatever channel that you may be watching this on. And without family any further ado, let us get into this particular manner. We're going to be talking about the matter of Modeh or Modah. In other words, in giving thanks. Most times when Israelites hear the matter of the word thanks or so, it's usually Todah, which was just typed into the thing, understandably so. But what we want to address in this particular case, brothers and sisters, is its root and how the verb of such works. So without any further ado, I'm going to pull up the PowerPoints. Now, again, family, I am able to see the comments. So ever so often, I'm going to ask you all to let me know what you think, if you have any questions or comments. And yes, ever so often I do ask, how do I sound? And so forth, all right? And if anybody can give me any pointers, any wisdom and advice concerning how to make the presentations better, I'm all ears. All right? Shalom, my brother, Yirmiyahu Yisrael. I understand currently there may not be X amount of people in because it's Shabbat. They may be on other platforms, other channels. And that is what it is. This is normally not the time I would have been doing this, but we wanted to do it last night. But the Wi-Fi seems to have not been working in its best mode. Alrighty, family. So let us get into this. Shalom, the manner of Modeh/Modah. Giving honor to the Creator of heaven and earth. In this presentation, Shalom, we want to and we will explain how to think a person. We will explain the pronouns and the verbs and the conjugation of such. Also, we will explain the matter of male and female in such. We ask you all to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share. All right? So to the people who are currently listening, I thank you all for joining in. And I'm going to, yes, I know, I'm going to ask again if I can be heard. And people in good spirits, let me know what it is. Type in the number 4. I have no problem with constructive criticism. All right, let's get into this particular matter. Please type in the number 4 if I can be heard well and you're in good spirits. These are the pronouns. Please listen. Now, we're going to, brothers and sisters, look at this from the matter of the laser pointer. Thank you, my brother Yirmiyahu Yisrael. I or I am, ani. Now, when you're looking at this right here, right, we want to, family, take out the time, all right, and color code that. And we're going to color code this one yellow. Now, I or I am, I must believe, is the most used pronoun in almost any language. Now, this goes for a man or a woman, a boy or a girl, a male or a female. Now, in Hebrew, the word for male is akar, and the word for female is nekweba. All right? So I just want to point that out for reasonable purposes. Now, when you say you or you are, we're going to go back with the laser pointer. All right? With the man that says you or you are. Ata means you or you are. Now, we're going to color code that one as well, brothers and sisters, but we're going to color code that one green. All right? Ata, meaning you or you are. So if the brother Yirmiyahu, the moderator here, is speaking to me, about me, he will say Ata. And I will say the same thing to him if I'm speaking to him about himself. All right? Next we have you or you are, feminine. And we're going to color code this particular one, all right, in the light blue, okay? You or you are, which is the word at. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to type it in. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to type it in. So we have so far I or I am. We're going to go back to the laser pointer. I or I am, ani. Ata, you or you are, masculine. At, you or you are, feminine. Now let's look at this right here. We're going to erase this, all right, because we're going to use color coding, all right. But we have he or he is. Who means he or he is. So let's say my lady Sarai was talking to me about a male sibling, an elder that's a male, someone who I may or may not know, someone who I may have spoken to her about that she may or may not know. And the statement is about him, but you're saying he. She or I would say who. A male or female saying he or he is. Speaking in the third person in this manner, right, would say who in this particular case. So then we have, and we want to color code that one, all right, with the highlighter. But we want to color code that one a little darker blue. All right. Then we have, brothers and sisters, she or she is, which is said as he. And we're going to color code that one in the purple. So what do we see right here, brothers and sisters? All right. We have ani, ata, at, who, he. All right. So I know and understand that when I go live, my statement is usually heard 10 seconds or so after the statement is actually made on YouTube. And that is what that is. I appreciate the brothers, the sisters, the elders, and anybody else who do take out the time out of their schedule, Shabbat or not, or out of the schedule, Shabbat or not, and go in with a brother in this particular manner. Let's go on, family. We have we or we are, which is said as what? Anachnu. And we're going to color code that one, all right, thank you, brothers and sisters, Torah, as yellow. So what can we gather in this case? You have I or I am as Ani. That is the first person singular. And we have, brothers and sisters, the first person plural, which is we. All right? So that's something we want to, brothers and sisters, point out in that particular realm. All right? So I'm going to just take a little time now and ask the brother that I see in the chat, the brother Yirmiyahu, and say, Ma shalom ka aki, how are you doing? Can you, my brother, if you're still there, type in, whether in English letters or in Hebrew letters, how you doing? Ma shalom ka is my question to you in that manner. All right? And next we have, you all are. And we want to color code that particular one, all right, in the black there, but it won't be on the words itself for obvious reasons with that. All right? We have it as what? You all are. Atem. Now, what the brother typed in is the words Ma shalom ka, which is, Torah, my friend, which is the question that I asked him. Ma shalom ka, how are you doing? So if you could type it in back, if you in good spirits, my brother, and if you can hear me well, please type in, whether in Hebrew or English. If it's in Hebrew, I'm going to read it and translate it. If it's in English letters, I'm going to read it and translate it. But just to get a little dialogue going, and what the intention is to share the StreamYard link, so that way other brothers who are familiar with the language can participate as well. All right, so let's go on. Next we have, brothers and sisters, right, with the time here allotted. You all are feminine. Aten. All right. And then we have, brothers and sisters, what we're going to show with the pen, but we're going to show it in black, if we will, right, is they. Ham or ham. They, feminine. Ham or haim. So we're going to, and I'm going to ask anyone who's in the chat if you can hear me well, and if you're in good spirits, because I can't really hear when I'm going live, please type in the number 4. Thank you for that. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters. We're going to go back to the laser pointer, right? I or I am. I need. Then we have you or you are. Ata. Then you have you or you are. Masculine. Pardon me, feminine. At. He or he is. Who. She or she is. He. Now this is the singular. We or we are. Anachnu. You all are. Masculine. Atem. Torah for that 4, my brother. Thank you. Aten. You all are. Feminine. Hain. They masculine. Hain. They feminine. So what do we see in that particular case? I'm going to take the liberty, all right, or so, erase all of that, so that way people can sit there, and if they're interested and if they want to, right, you can type in, not type in, unless you just care to type into the chat, but just take a screenshot, because these are your pronouns. And by knowing these, you will begin to see how far and how high and how well your vocabulary and conversation can become. All right? Any questions or comments? Please feel free to type it into the chat. I can see it on both, whether I got one phone on Modeh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, the other one on Modeh Yeshaya Torah lessons. So don't hesitate in that case. Thanks. How does this verb work? All right, we ask you all to get your pens, your pads, and your paper and to take notes. All right, thank you for that. Again, I know that the timing is a little different. We were going to do this last night, but it didn't work out properly, so we're doing it now. Thankful to the Most High that is working a whole lot better. The principal root of Modeh or Modah is Yada, which in root literally means he threw and is the root for to throw. All right? The word Yad means hand. Thus we can see why Yada would mean to throw. The word Yada, we want to point out, is in the qualis stem. Now, brothers and sisters, if we remember looking at this word here, Yada meaning to throw, right? That's a Lamed Hey verb. And it is, brothers and sisters, a Lamed Hey verb because it ends with the letter Hey. All right? Now, in another time, we're going to just take that verb, Yada meaning to throw, and conjugate it and show how that works. All right? Thank you all for the time. Now, let's go back to the laser pointer. Thank you, brothers and sisters. The word Yada in the he filled form is in the root Hoda. So what happens essentially, all right, we want to show with the pen, is that this, and we want to show it, say, in red ink, all right? This yod transform in a qualis stem to the hey in this case. The word Yada in the he filled form is in the root Hoda. The he filled stem we will discuss as time goes on. But if you're on Modeh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, that is going to be in the link. Pardon me, that's going to be in the description, the link of it, on how the he filled stem works. Let's go on. This word literally means he thinked, and in root means to think. All roots are based in the past tense. Now, we want to, brothers and sisters, all right, take the highlighter, but we want to show it in the yellow, if we will, right? And that is, all roots are based in the past tense. In order to get to the root of something, you got to go to what? The past of such. We often hear Toda, and this means a think. However, in English, for sense purposes, it is translated as thinks. So let's understand something. The word for thinks, plural, is todot. From the singular word toda. But if you just said toda, literally the English translation is a think, like a piece, a book, a bottle, a window. Well, when you say it as that, it literally just means a think. But if for sense purposes, again, in English, we say it as what? Thinks, okay? Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. All right? Here we see with the laser pointer, the matter with Hoda and Modah. The word Hoda in root, meaning to think, is a past tense word. So let's point something out, if we will, right, with the highlighter. You have in root and past tense. And as we pointed out before, in order to get to the root of something, you gotta what? Go to the past of it. All right? In the present tense, masculine singular, we see as Modeh or Modah, the feminine singular. So what I'm going to do, brothers and sisters, all right, and for those who do know, I feed the animals that come around by the window. So I don't mean to pause, but I had already put the food out for the little creatures that come and so forth. And I got that wisdom from my lady. Alrighty. Let's look at this right here. In this case, we have Modeh, masculine, singular. And we're going to color code this, all right? And then we have, in the yellow in this case, all right, Modah, feminine, singular. Any questions or comments, please feel free. Type it into the chat. If I can be heard and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you, family. If I can be heard and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you, family. So let's look. We have showing with this right here, right? Thank you for that consistency, my brother Yirmiyahu. I appreciate that. Modeh, masculine singular. Modim, masculine plural. Modah, feminine singular. Modot, feminine plural. Now, what can we point out is that if we look back here, brothers and sisters, on the right hand side, the word yada, right, in the he feel form is in the root hoda. Yada being the qual stem, hoda being the he feel stem. So now, if the hey is shown there, right, what can we say looking at it here with Modeh? The mem comes in its place, and we want to show with the pen. We're going to circle it, say in red. We're going to circle, say in red. We're going to circle, say in red. And we're going to circle, say in red, that mem. That mem inside of the histil stem, all right, shows it to be the matter of the present tense. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Thank you, brothers and sisters. All right, so let's go on in this matter, family. The most used pronoun is I or I am, which is ani. This is used for male or female. A male would say, ani modeh. A female would say, ani modah. At times you may hear the verb modeh or modah before ani. What am I saying? A male would say, ani modeh. Or sometimes you might hear it said as modeh ani. A female would say, ani modah. But sometimes you might hear it as modah ani. And what does that mean? I give thanks. All right? So let's go on, family. Any questions? Please feel free to type it into the chat. Pronouns, the singular and the plural. Now, what is the difference, family, between what we went over here? These are the pronouns, please listen, and pronouns, the singular and the plural. Absolutely no difference. I'll put this other part up here to show the importance of such. So I'm going to, brothers and sisters, leave this right here at the moment, right? And let you all, as I pull it back up, because I want to do something real quick, brothers and sisters, if we will. Mute it, drink a little something that I got as juice, and then pull it back up so you can sit there and study it for at least a minute or two. I'll be right back, family. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Again, all right, we again want to emphasize the importance of this matter. If I can be heard and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Next slide. Thank you again, my brother. Modeh and Modim and pronouns. So let's look, brothers and sisters, at this with the laser pointer. We have Modeh. The pronouns for this are hu, ata, ani. We have Modah. The pronouns for this are he, at, and ani. Now, what does ani mean? Ani means I, or I am. At means you or you are when speaking to a female. And he means she. So do you see why we paused when we begin to sit there and see the ani, the at, and the he? We see the ani, the ata, and the who. All right? So when we're saying something as of this nature, ani modeh, ata modeh, who modeh. A female would say of herself, I give thanks, ani modah. Anyone would say, at modah, you give thanks. Anyone would say, he modah, she gives thanks. And that's how that works. Then we have over here, brothers and sisters, the pronouns for the matter for the plural are we or we are. Anachnu. You all are. Atem. Aten, Haim, and Haim. All right? So let's look at this, brothers and sisters. Shalom, my love, Sarah Michaela. How are you doing? We know and understand that the presentation is in the daytime. We was going to try to do it last night, but certain things happened that didn't cause it to be. And sidebar, I was a little disappointed and saddened. And I spoke with my lady on the phone. She called me and gave me some wisdom and saying, calm down, these things happen. It'll be better next time. And that right there, when we talk about not taking nothing from the Most High on his day, when we start to talk about the power of a woman, those are the certain things that we're talking about. To be able to be like, okay, yes, I understand. I hear you. These things happen. You know, I put all this work in trying to get it out there, you know. And it's not to talk business. It's like, yo, I'm paying the T-Mobile for the internet. What's going on? Relax. Relax. Similar to what a brother spoke about on New Moon. When your soul is at rest, relax. My response is going to be relaxed to everything you're saying, Ak. And that's the spirit that I got from my lady, the sister, Sarah Michaela, when her and I spoke after the situation last night. So if I can be heard and people in good spirits, thank you all for joining in. Please type in the number 4. Thank you. And Shabbat Shalom to you too. Peace and blessings to you too. Shabbat Shalom, Wagam et. Shalom, Wagam came Barakot. Barakot means blessings from the word Baraka. The word Baraka, meaning blessing, comes from the word Barak, meaning to bless. Do you know the word Berek means knee, like the knee on your leg? So you get Berek, which is knee, Barak, which is bless. So it's a blessing when we prostrate ourselves, when we go on our knees and petition the Most High. This is the spiritual aspect of the language. You know where I got that citation from? A brother named Avdiel Levy, also known as Zion Lex. Yeah, I'm going to go there. I was watching one time, which I very rarely watch, the Sarnetta channel. For those Israelites who know, we know why Sarnetta will edit your video. This is not to sit there and slander the man and nothing like that. But at one time, I sat there and I watched it. And the brother Zion Lex pointed that out and was like, yeah, that makes sense in the language. That the word Berek means knee and Barak means bless. And when we go down on prayer, we are asking for a baraka. You know? So these are just things that we want to point out. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters, right? We have Modeh pronouns for this or for the people who just joined in. I'm going to reinstate the statement. You have the word who, meaning he, ata, meaning you when speaking to a male, and ani, meaning I. So how do you say as a male, I give thanks? Ani Modeh. How do you say you give thanks when speaking to a male, regardless of your gender, is ata Modeh. And who Modeh means he gives thanks. Now, isn't that common to say that? Give thanks. Give thanks. I've been hearing that from a lot of our people who are quote unquote dread. Give thanks. You understand? And I was raised that if you was given something and didn't say thank you, you had it taken back from you till you learned the manners. I remember that as a child. Until whether you say give thanks, I give thanks, or thank you, or I appreciate, show some form of gratitude verbally. So yes, it's about being it and not just saying it, but don't let us not act like saying it don't count either. You understand? And this is why going over this kind of thing, I call it in part manners and culture. Tarbut meaning culture. I haven't really learned the word for manners in Hebrew. You might just say maybe their custom or something of that nature, or, you know, tabdi taruach, or you may just want to say like that. Tabnit haruach, something like the resemblance of the spirit. You know, something in that manner, where your attitude, the Hebrew word for attitude is gisha. So brothers and sisters, what am I trying to point out in this particular case right here, right? People who don't know whether you say give thanks, like the brothers and sisters who I personally know, I can say are dreads, they say that quite often. Give thanks and praises. The congregation House of Israel made Moreh Elisha rest in peace. They had a song called Thanks and Praises. The congregation Shema Yisrael, they had a song called Give Thanks. And the brothers out of DCB, shout out to my brother Uziel Ben Levi, he posted it online. Something tells me there's a reggae song talking about giving thanks. And I remember when you got something as a child and didn't say thank you, you had to take it back. If anybody can remember anything of that kind of sort or can relate to anything I'm talking about, I'm asking you to type in the number 3. If you know about being taught manners, regardless of what language, Hebrew, Arabic, or anything else, or even Spanish, and you don't give thanks, as a child, you will have that thing taken back from you till you learn. Shout out to my sister, Yakina. Very, very, very good babysitter. And for those who are listening to the Zoom with the prayer line with Saul Naaman and his wife, Gaveh Kokavia, I remember as a child, as they talked about my mother ever so often, and some got teary-eyed, that there's a reason why they take it back when you don't give thanks or say it. Because you'll be known as a taker. Because see, a taker don't say thank you. A taker don't show appreciation, verbally or otherwise. Or inclusive, I must say. Some people call it the feeling of entitlement. I was supposed to get that. That's mine. So being taught as a child by not giving thanks and you haven't taken it from you, you learn to not have the spirit of entitlement. You came into this world, you owe the world something before you get anything. When in Israelite culture, that's why we put it per se on both channels, Modeh Yeshai Torah lessons, Modeh Yeshai Hebrew lessons. Don't you know Leviticus chapter 12, citing the Torah, says that a woman is to give a sin offering And if you don't know what the sin offering lists are for qualifications, that's in Leviticus 4. In Leviticus 12, where it speaks about a woman giving birth, she has to give a sin offering. There's some theories on why that is. Sometimes we could just say it is what it is. But in Leviticus chapter 1 and chapter 2, it talks about the free will offering or the offering of giving thanks. You know how to say that offering? The thankful offering or the free will offering, if you will? The Hebrew word for that is Todah. It's right in Leviticus. It's expected to you to come before the Most High giving thanks. Before you ask, I remember that kind of conversation. Lord, help me. Lord, I'm going through this. Give thanks for what you got already. Count your blessings. And this is not to minimize people's situations that's not the happiest. But at the same token, even Leah, giving birth to the children of Israel, said, "This time will I praise Yah." And she named him Yahudah. So we want to give honor and thanks unto the Most High God for even having a platform as this. In congregations before the internet came out, I remember hearing, "Thank you, Yah, for even this place and places such as unto this." We have the internet these days, so when do you stop to thank the Most High for this kind of platform and platforms such as this? We did New Moon service. We want to bring in the worship. Sagal is worship. The honor, the hadara, that we know and understand that we can offer to the Most High. When me and my lady was in Costa Rica, I found out about traveling does broaden your mind. I didn't believe it like, you just want us to buy your passport. You just want us to get on Delta Airlines. No, it really does, and I lied to you not. Because I ain't understand Psalm 50. So I got to Costa Rica as a grown man, reading it in both languages, Hebrew and English. But some things you got to see with your eyes and experience that maybe the languages in any language can't tell you. The cattle on 1,000 hills is mine. I'm from Flatbush, Brooklyn. You don't see no hills. Unless you go to the Bronx, you might see hills. And there's no cattle outside of rats, squirrels, and dogs in the Bronx. And we don't eat rats, squirrels, and dogs in Israelite culture. We don't offer that to our God by law. You understand? But when I saw the cow and I saw the sheep and the goat on the mountain, I'm like, oh, that's what it's talking about. And if you know anything about the land of Israel, there are mountains in the land of Judah, very much. It's very hilly, and in Jerusalem, like Psalms 125 says, is surrounded by mountains. So when the children of Israel went against the Jebusites under the timing of Dawid, because from Joshua to Dawid, Israel didn't have Jerusalem until the era of Dawid when it became its capital. And they went against the Yebusim or the Jebusites. The Jebusites were Sodomites. You had to go up the mountain and then descend and then fight against them. And what happened in that particular case. So don't let nobody tell you that the Israelites is nationally a branch of the Canaanites. No, it's two different ethnic peoples. And neither the ancient Israelites nor the ancient Canaanites will agree with some of the stuff that people say on today with that. But getting back into this, we have on the singular side here on the left-hand side, Modeh, Ani, or you might hear Ani Modeh. Ata Modeh, who Modeh? So let me point this with the pen. Modeh, Ani. Modeh, Ata. Modeh, who? All right? And then we got Modah. We want to show it with a different color. All right? With the pen. Modah Ani. Modah At. Modah He. Now, as pointed out, you might hear the verb Modah before or after the pronoun. In many cases, in Israel, you hear it after. You usually hear Modeh Ani. And so forth. All right? So let's look. Then we have, as pointed out in Chronicles chapter 29, if I remember right, laser pointer, Modah-mודה. That used to be a chant in Hashaba Yisrael. Modah-mודה lak sheyatahu Eloheinu Elohei Abutenu Abraham Yitzchak Yaakov. We give thanks unto thee, O Lord our God. Modah-mודה lak sheyatahu Eloheinu, who is our God. Elohei Abutenu, and the God of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So when they say Abraham didn't exist, what they want to say is that the God of Abraham didn't exist. That's really where your defeat comes into play at. So let's look, brothers and sisters. We give thanks. The plural pronouns for modim are anaknu, atem, and haim. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it into the chat. If I can be heard and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. If I can be heard and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you. One thing we want to remember, Hebrew is easy, not difficult. Learn the words you use all the time, and your vocabulary will increase. Remembering the pronouns is essential for conversation. Remember the pronouns we discussed today can be before or after the verb. Thank you for that, my brother. The pronouns we discussed in the previous lesson, that in English is me, him, us, etc., is in the description. So, and this is uploaded. You're going to see several videos in the description for edification purposes. We will now deal with the aspect of showing how one speaks in giving thanks in the past tense and future tense. We will only deal with the first person masculine and feminine plural, ani and anaknu. Ani is I, anaknu is we. Next slide. The future tense and the present tense. Modeh, I will give thanks. This is said by male or female. Modeh, we will give thanks. This is said by either males or females. Modah-mודה. This is said by males or females. Oh, I'm sorry. I see what I typed. This is said by males or males and females. So if it's a group of men and women or boys and girls, then you would say Modah-mודה. Anaknu modot. This is said by females. So let's say you got 8 females and 8 males. And what the females are saying is anaknu modot. They're excluding the males, which is not a bad thing depending upon what they're talking about. Now, if they're inclusive of the males, they would say modim anaknu. That includes the males and the females. Now, if those 8 males and 8 females are there, and the males say modim anaknu, they can either be including the females, which more than likely they are, or excluding them. In that case, it will go something like anaknu modim, anaknu haskarim. We the males, we give thanks. Zakar means male. Ish means man. Yeled means boy. The Kweba means female. Isha means woman. Yalda means girl. Now I want to point this out. The difference between saying wife as Isha and the word for married women is distinct. Any grown male can be an Ish. Any grown woman can be an Isha. So you are a man, you are a woman. But when we're going to deal with in the future is that word nasa. To lift, to carry, to take, or to, and I'm going to type this in. The other word for nasa, meaning what? Marry. And that, brothers and sisters, is something that we Israel need to focus on because we're married to our God. And the Most High is married to us. So make your Isha a Nasuya. Make your woman a married woman. That's what we want to point out. Next slide as we close out. Outro. On the channel, Modeh Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons. We see that the letter Hey and Mem are very important in the conjugation of verbs. What does conjugate mean? In the description of this video, there are links to matters on a hey and mem matter when it is a prefix. What is a prefix? We're going to, brothers and sisters, all right, look at this right here and type this in, all right? Conjugate. When making a verb shown in the present, past, or future tense. All right? Now, the letter hey and mem matter when the prefix. A word, pardon me, in this case, a letter or letters that are, sorry about that, attached to the root of a word, preferably verb. All right? So this is just something we want to point out in that case. Any questions? Shalom, my brother Ben Dora. So we want to point that out in this particular case. All right? Any questions or comments, please feel free to type it in. Conclusion. It is the duty of one to bring the knowledge of Hebrew to the masses. While doing so, we want to point out that it is easy. The steps to learn this, as in the language, is to understand that it is not difficult. Learn the words you use regularly and your vocabulary will increase. Do not be afraid to make a mistake. Hebrew is not something we need to know by the laws. It's not a law saying you must learn Hebrew. So don't worry if you make a mistake. It's not a sin. It's not a kata'ah. It's not a sin. All right? It's not a pigul. It's not an iniquity. And it certainly is not a to'eba or an abomination. Do not be afraid to make a mistake. Do not overthink a matter. Also, do not think you are obligated to one teacher. Pick your teacher. There are many Hebrew teachers. Some older, some younger, some male, some female. Pick your Hebrew teacher. I advertise other people's Hebrew books, like Iman Shoshana's book, on the platform. Some time ago, I advertised my teacher, Kohen Mikael's Hebrew book on the platform. I speak upon, not tooting my own horn, the sister Tehillah Ben Dan, who is a very good teacher in the language. So pick your teacher, brothers and sisters. I can be reached at 908-587-4841. If you like this, please stay tuned for the next Hebrew class, which we intend to have at 10 a.m. Yeah, see, because, again, this was supposed to be from last night. So what I'm going to do, family, all right, is stay tuned for the next presentation we intend to have at 4:30 p.m. next presentation. That we intend to have at 4:30 p.m. All right? Now, why is this telling me that this is grammatically incorrect? Oh, I'm supposed to put a comma? All right. So on the channel, Modeh Yeshaya Torah Lessons and Modeh Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons, the same two channels that this is uploaded on, at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm in New York. We intend to do a presentation called Jeremiah and the Shabbat. Yep, that's the conclusion and the end of that. So, brothers and sisters, giving honor and praise unto the Creator, the maker of heaven and earth. If there's any questions or comments, you can text me. You can send me WhatsApp. You can put it inside the comments in here. My number is right there, as you can see. I'm going to leave this on the screen so you can screenshot it or take a picture with it or so, or write it down. Right now the time is 12:41 Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to leave this on here and close out at 12:44, so you can take your notes. This is why we ask you to get your pens, your pad, and your paper. Again, if I can be heard and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4. I want to thank the Most High for the sister Sarah that I have in my life, to share wisdom, to share knowledge, to share understanding. This is not to take nothing away from said manner. Who saw the movie Sugar Hill? Remember in Sugar Hill when the guy was telling Romeo about his lady and he said, I ain't even got that? Us as men, that line hit many of us like a mallet. I was a child when that movie came out, so I certainly didn't have no lady. I was still in school. But those are two grown men in that. That line hit like a mallet as you get older, or if you were already older then. When you don't have that, what did the Most High say? It's not good for man to be alone. Yah said that. Of all the things the Most High made in Genesis, he said man being alone is not good. We teach that Genesis chapter 1 is the thought, and in Genesis chapter 2 is the actual creation of the world and the people and the animals and so forth. Because the person writing in Genesis, originally the prophet Moshe, he's giving you it from an afterthought, if you will, of everything that's transpired beforehand. And you find at times in the scriptures anachronisms. That's why you find Dan mentioned in Genesis 14 when Dan doesn't come until after Genesis 20 in birth. On the channel, Modeh Torah Lessons, we have a list of the translation of the names in Genesis for those who are interested. Translation of the name in Genesis, part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, on the channel Modeh Torah Lessons. Why? Because when my mother, may she rest in peace, would read the Bible back in the 1960s. Let's go here real quick while this is still up for the people who are interested. And let's read Genesis chapter 10 to show why we went over that. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Modah, and my mother will close the book. For all the Torah, all the scriptures my mother taught me, when she was a child, if she would read the Bible, Genesis, she would not get past the book of Genesis, saying she's not familiar with those names. So it became upon my spirit, thinking the Most High, to want to translate the names in the book of Genesis, because she will be used to, at that time, names like 1960 something, Malcolm, Martin, Angela, Peter, Dwayne, you know, the standard English names. So when she's reading Gomer, Magog, Aprakshad, Shelah, Almodad, in Genesis, is like, I don't know what this is. I can't relate to it. Close it. So we want to, while proclaiming that as ours, get into the language of it and the translations of such. On the channel Modeh Torah Lessons, you can type in translation of Hebrew songs. When you hear that song, where there's peace, there's love. When you hear that song, Ha'azin Ali, coming out of Hashaba. When you hear that song, the 76th Psalm, majority of it sang by the females in Hebrew. What are we saying? Those things are translated upon these channels. So, brothers and sisters, when we close out and say this, it is the duty of one to bring the knowledge of Hebrew to the masses. A brother takes it serious, giving honor and praise unto Yah, creator, maker of heaven and earth. I am open to constructive criticism, and I appreciate you all for taking out your time and joining in this case. And don't forget, family, we want to show, all right, we're going to pin, underline, and to have at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a teaching regarding Jeremiah and the Shabbat. So get your pens, your pads, and your paper. And like this presentation is only 10 slides. Shalom. Thank you, Sarah Michaela. Thank you, Yirmiyahu Yisel. Thank you, Brother Dora. And thank you to everybody who came into the chat. On a human level, want to give due respect to my lady, Sarah Michaela, who off camera definitely was a support when it didn't work out better earlier. Shabbat Shalom, Mishpachah in the chat. Peace and blessings, Kol Yisrael. Blessings. Give thanks. Shalom.